Today we're talking about scripting. If you want your content to perform better, you have to focus on leveling up your scripts. But the truth is, to write significantly better scripts, you don't need a secret formula. Funny enough, you don't even have to be that great of a writer. You just need to understand the 4 principles that makes or breaks a script on social media. And in this video, I'm breaking all of them down. My name is August and I've generated hundreds of millions of views and hundreds of thousands of followers, all through content. Okay, so the first principle is something that comes way before you even start scripting the actual video. It is topic selection. Topic selection. Because if you hire the best of the best, the world's most talented copywriters, I mean, the writers that are the best at understanding social media and the algorithm and all of that stuff, if you hired them and put them all in one room and gave them one main objective, write the most viral script you possibly can, the one that gets the most likes, comments, views, engagement, followers, all of that good stuff. But you gave them one constraint. You have to talk about a topic that people fundamentally don't care about. They wouldn't be able to do it because the topic is the precursor of all of the success a video can get on social media. If you can take one thing from this video right here, it is that the topic is the thing that matters the very most, because I could teach you about scripting and everything I'm going to talk about in this video. I could talk about all of that, but you wouldn't see any success because of that if you didn't understand topic selection, right? Because the thing is, people scroll on social media and they scroll subconsciously. They just scroll, scroll, scroll. And when they stop, it's because they care about the topic that the person in the video, the creator here, are talking about. Because before this, they've scrolled past many videos with amazing lighting and amazing camera gear and a very good hook, etc. But they scrolled past it. Why? Because they didn't care about the topic. And when they stop, it's because they care about the topic or it resonates with them or they can relate to it. So the topic right here is the most important thing you can understand about all of social media. Right, so how do you come up with topics that actually resonates with your audience, that people actually care about? There are 2 approaches here. You can do the original approach and you can do the proven approach. The original approach here is when you look at your sales calls, you see this thing keeps coming up, so I'm going to talk about that. Or you talk to your customers and they say, hey, I want you to talk about this in your videos. Or you may have an intuition yourself, okay, I should probably talk about this. This seems like a good thing to talk about. That's the original approach. The proven approach is that you look at Instagram, you look at YouTube, you look at Reddit, you look at TikTok, look at LinkedIn, look at all of these platforms here. And you just study them. You see, okay, this topic in my niche keeps popping up and it keeps performing very well. You go to Reddit, you see this subreddit here where my ideal audience hangs out. They keep talking about this one thing over and over and over again. That is a topic that is proven to work, because it keeps showing up and it keeps getting views and it keeps being talked about in the subreddits. Now, the original approach, the reason why I'm not a big fan of it and I like the proven approach better is because people have 2 states of mind when they tell you what they want to watch, what topics they want you to talk about. They have the conscious mind and they have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is when they think about it and say, I want you to talk about this or this or this. But the issue with that is what they say to you may necessarily not even correlate to how they behave on social media when they're subconscious. But when you look at this right here, the proven approach, you look at how they actually spend their attention on social media. They keep watching these topics and these topics and these topics, but they weren't necessarily something that they spoke about. Which one would you rather make content for? The conscious mind or the subconscious mind? I would rather make content for the subconscious mind, because people are subconscious when they scroll on social media. People aren't consciously going in and saying, I want to watch this video. No, they're opening the app and seeing, okay, this thing pops up. I'm just going to watch it. Right, so I'm a way bigger fan of the proven approach. Now, I'm not saying that the original approach cannot work. I'm just saying here, you're backing everything that you are talking about on social media. You're backing it up by actual data, and you're backing it up by what they're actually voting with their attention on that they want to watch, right? So this is the approach that I like to use when coming up with topics that people care about. Now, if you've never done this before, like topic selection, even just taking the original route will increase your views. But if you take the proven route here, I guarantee you, you're gonna get a lot better results on your social media. Now, the next principle I want to talk about is simplifying your videos. When you found the topic here, let's say you're a fat loss coach, you look up Instagram, you look up Reddit, you look up YouTube, and you keep seeing this one thing, visual fat, how to lose visual fat, right? The biggest mistake I see a lot of experts making when they found this, so they found the topic that is proven to work, which is visual fat. They think to themselves, if I'm going to be perceived as an expert, I have to explain everything I know about it. I know about what supplement stack you have to take. I know about what exercises and training program you have to take. I understand the nutrition that you need to follow in order to lose this visual fat. I understand the sleep protocol that you have to follow. I understand all of this. And if people need to see me as an expert, I need to talk about all of these things. But that's not the case, because your ideal audience is most likely not someone who is at the same level as you. They don't understand nutrition or visual fat or exercises or supplements as well as you do. So the fallacy here is, if you talk about all of these things, you're not going to attract your ideal audience. You're going to push them away because they're going to be overwhelmed. Who you're going to attract is your competitors. People who are also a fat loss coach or whatever you are, who are attracting that type of person, because you're talking in a way where it's only the top 1% that can understand it. So please, when you have the overall topic, yes, you can note down, you understand the supplement stack. You can note down all of these things right here. That's great, but don't try to include all of them into one video. Please don't do that. What you should do instead is simplifying it. So you understand, okay, this is a proven topic. How can I make a simple video where I'm talking about this that can actually benefit my ICP? It may be the 3-step training protocol to lose visual fat. That is a way more simple idea than talking about all of these other things, right? Because the thing is, you've probably seen this meme before, right? The bell curve here. Let's just draw it here. This is the bell curve. On this side, we have the idiot, right? This is just like the idiot. He's just happy and dumb. And then we have the person up here, which is the tryharder. So this right here, this is the tryharder. And over here we have the cool dude, the Jedi. This is just the person who is just, he understands his stuff, right? What these two here have in common is they have a topic they want to talk about. They just make a simple video about it. But this person up here, he's the one saying, oh, I need to talk about sleep protocol, nutrition, training protocol, supplement stacks, all of that stuff. They overcomplicate it so much to the point where they overwhelm everyone who is watching the video. And that's not what you want to do. You want to be this person, because the difference between this person right here and this person right here is that this person, he doesn't back any of his decision up by data, but this person right here, he finds a proven topic and he makes a simple video about it. So you have to come up with a simple video. Imagine this is like this storyline of your video. You have to come up with a simple video, and instead of diverging here to talk about another topic or another topic or another topic or another topic or another topic, you don't want to do any of that. You find the proven topic, you just make a simple video about it and stick to it. Now, the third principle I want to talk about is the theory of scripting a good video. Right, that was very long. I couldn't bother writing all of that. The theory of scripting a good video. Boom. This is not like a step-by-step practical approach to writing the scripts. We're going to get into that in the last principle. This right here is just understanding the theory behind it, because before you can write a good script and a script that gets a lot of views, you have to understand the theory, right? We've gone through the topic selection, the importance of that. We've gone through why you need to have a simple approach to writing them. Now we want to be able to write this proven topic, simple idea into a structure that is actually working with the algorithm instead of against it. Now, just so you can understand this, we're going to divide the structure of the script here into 3 phases. We have the hook here, we have the body here, and we have the ending here. The hook is obviously what grabs the attention. The body is the value, the meat of the video. The ending is either the CTA or the conclusion of the video. Right, that is the 3 sections that fundamentally all videos follow. Everything has a hook, it's just the intro. Everything has a body, it's the main section, value, meat of the video. And everything has an ending, it's the CTA or the conclusion. Right, cool. To understand how to optimally write a hook, a body, and an ending, we have to understand how the social media algorithm works. So I'm just going to explain that now. Bear with me. To understand how it works, we have to understand how social media makes money, because the algorithm is designed so the social media platforms can make more money. And the way they make more money is if you spend more time on the actual platform. The higher screen time is on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, the more money they make. So the algorithms want to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. And the way that they do that is by feeding you more videos that it thinks you would enjoy. Because think about it, when you keep seeing videos on your feed that you just love, you stay on the platform. But if you start seeing videos that you don't really care about, that is when you close down the app. Right, so the algorithm is optimized for that, feeding you videos that it thinks you will like. The same for everybody else, right? So it works as a giant matchmaking algorithm. So everybody, or the ones that create content, they create a piece of content. And when you upload a piece of content, the first thing that happens is that the social media platform gives it a digital fingerprint. So it watches the videos, it listens to the sounds, it looks at the captions, it understands the video, all of the metadata of the video. It turns that into a fingerprint. And with that fingerprint, it puts it into a matchmaking machine. This is like the matchmaking machine. And then what it does is it understands the video, what's it about, it understands the fingerprint, the digital fingerprint of the video. And it wants to match that with someone who is interested in the things that you are talking about here, that it deems as someone who would like it. And the way it does that is every user on social media also has a fingerprint. It knows that you like politics, it knows that you like fitness, or you like cooking videos, etc. It has a fingerprint of you. And what it does then is it takes you here and it understands that you like fitness or you on a fat loss journey or whatever. And this person here is talking about how to lose visceral fat. Okay, it's going to pair that with you, right? It's a matchmaking machine because this video is about visceral fat and it understands that you are likely to like a video about visceral fat because you're on a fat loss journey, for example, right? But it doesn't just push this video to millions of people. Duh. If that was the case, you would have millions of views on every single video. No, what it does is it pushes it out to a small subset of people first, because that is a lot less risky for the platform, because it can see like, okay, how well do people respond to it here versus just pushing it out to millions of people. It's a big risk. Obviously, the size of this first initial testing round of viewers depends on your size of the account, your previous views, and all of that stuff. But let's just, for simplicity's sake, say that it is a 100 viewers, the initial test group. Then what happens is these videos here are being matched, or this video here, sorry, is being matched with 100 people. And it gets a score based on how well these 100 people interact with the video. If they watch the video for a long time, they don't instantly scroll, they like the video, they comment, they engage, etc., it gets a positive score. But on the other hand, if it gets skipped a lot, people don't really watch it, they don't engage with it, it gets a negative score. So it starts with the 100 people. If it gets a positive score, it's being pushed onto more people, let's say 500 here. And again, it gets a score. If it's positive, then it gets pushed on to even more people. Let's say 2,000 people. Again, gets a score. It's a good one. Then it gets pushed on to even more people. And it keeps continuing like this until the platform sees, okay, now a lot of people didn't engage positively with it. They just scrolled past it and it gets a negative score. That is the ceiling of your video. That is why some video seems to be prioritized by the algorithm, etc. It's just because the subset of people who've watched it responded positively to it, right? So knowing all of this, we know how the algorithm works. We can actually script the hook, the body, the ending in a way where it works in tandem with the algorithm instead of against it. This is how you get the algorithm to actually prioritize your content. And the way I like to do this is by following a concept called broad, narrow, niche. Narrow, niche. And what we want to do here is have the hook being broad. And now when I say broad, I'm not just saying as broad as possible, like talking about something that everybody in the entire world cares about. No, because you have a digital fingerprint. Remember that. And you want to be matched with people who also care about fat loss. That's just the example here. So you want to make the hook as broad as possible to the group that is interested in fat loss. You don't want to make it about politics, etc., because the fingerprint is going to be messed up and you're going to be pushed to people who aren't your audience, right? And people who wouldn't care about losing visceral fat. So you want to make the hook as broad as possible within the niche that you are in. And the reason why you want to do that is if the hook is broad, the subset of people here are more likely to care about it. There's more people every time it gets pushed that are likely to care about it. Whereas if it's extremely niche, you could imagine that it's only a small percentage of these 100 people that would care about it. And the Instagram algorithm or YouTube algorithm just sees this and say, a lot of people didn't really like this video, so it's probably not a good video. And it could be an amazing video, but it's just too niche in the beginning. So we want to keep the hook broad. And then you may ask, why wouldn't we just keep the entire video broad if that's how you get pushed on social media? And the reason why we don't want to do that is if you keep it broad through the body, the people who would actually be your ideal followers would be turned off because they would think, okay, this is just super surface level. This is so broad. This is super generic. There's no reason for me to watch the rest of the video. There's no reason for me to watch this person over this other person who actually goes into detail with what he's talking about. Right? So you want to give your ideal audience a chance to actually understand that you have something to give them. You want to give them a reason to stay and watch the rest of the video. And it's the same thing with the niche thing here. The reason why you want to keep it niche here is because you don't want to flood your funnel or your following with people who aren't qualified. So this is why you go the most niche as possible. You essentially call out the ideal customer you have here. Because the issue is, if you also keep this too broad here, you're going to get a lot of people going through your funnel who aren't qualified. You're going to get a lot of people inside your following who aren't qualified. And that is when you get an audience of people who have no intention of buying from you. And what we want is creating a following of actual buyers. So this is how you structure your videos and like the theory of how to script these videos where it actually works with the algorithm instead of against it. Now, the fourth and final principle is the actual approach on how to script the videos. And the reason why I didn't start with this is if you didn't first and foremost, understand topic selection, none of these approaches to scripting videos would matter because the topic wouldn't matter and people wouldn't care about the videos. If you didn't understand that you have to simplify your videos and your video ideas, this wouldn't matter either because it would be too complex and you would turn away all of the people that you wanted to attract. And third, if you didn't understand the framework that we scripted within, none of this would make any sense for you. Right, so the final thing we want to do here is take everything here and turn it into the script. So we start with the topic. That was visceral fat that we used as an example here. Then we take the subtopic, the way that we simplify the video. That was the 3-step training protocol to lose this visceral fat. And then we want to map out the video as the first thing in the scripting approach with the BNN approach, the broad, narrow, niche approach. So this is essentially the hook. That is the first thing we want to map out. Second, we want to map out the body. And third, we want to map out the ending. Let's start with the hook. Now, I may have a different approach to hooks than a lot of other people. My approach is, it depends on where you're at. Do you already know how to script? Have you made videos that have gone viral before? Then, and maybe you're struggling as of lately, then you already know how to make good hooks. You have this sense of the mechanisms of hooks. You understand it intuitively. I would just follow that, because that is the strongest training or like approach you can have to hooks, is actually genuinely understanding it yourself. Because yes, I can mention all of these best practices to hooks, but at the end of the day, doesn't really work, right? So if you've been struggling as of lately, I'll just make this one change, which is going for proven topics. If you have hooks and you understand how to write a good hook that captures attention, just use a proven topic and write the same way that you always have been doing, right? That is genuinely my advice to you. But if you, on the other hand, don't really know how to write good hooks, you're struggling with it and you don't deep down intuitively understand it, this is the approach I would take. And for me to explain this approach, I actually want to tell a story. So when I was 12 years old, I wanted to become a music producer. I wanted to be the ones making the beats for all of the biggest rappers and musicians in the world. The issue was, me at 12 years old, I knew nothing about music theory. I knew nothing about beats. I knew nothing about instruments. I played the guitar when I was 6, but stopped when I was 7. I knew nothing about the software she used to make all of these beats. I knew nothing about it. I was not equipped to make any good music. Right, so what did I do? I saw online that you had to download FL Studio. That was the software you had to use, apparently, to make all of this music. Right, I downloaded that, and I quickly figured out this is a lot more difficult than I initially thought. So what did I do? Instead of just searching up on YouTube how to make good beats, I looked at live streams. I searched up the biggest producers I could find that were live streaming. And I just ripped off all of their beats. So I looked at how they made their melody, and I had it on my TV, right? I was watching the live stream on my TV, and I have my laptop right here. I saw, okay, he puts his note right there, he puts his kick and snare right there, and I just said, and I did the same thing, right? I was just copying all of their beats and I was showing it to my friends and family. I was essentially just LARPing all of their beats because I was saying, hey, look, I'm such a prodigy. I've been around the block here with music production for 2 weeks. I can already make these beats. Right, so I was just ripping all of this stuff and saying it was mine. That was pretty funny looking back now. But the thing is, I actually learned music production during that. Because the thing is, I saw, okay, these people usually use these instruments together. And they usually use these drums with it. And they put the kick here and the double snare here and the hi-hats like this. And they make triplets here. And the melodies follow these scales and all of that stuff. I did like copy everything for 6 to 12 months or something. And I just learned all of the patterns. And all of a sudden, I could take my remote controller and could turn off the television. And I could make the beats myself. All because I copied my way to understanding the patterns that fundamentally made good beats. And it's the same thing with your hooks. If you don't understand how to make a good hook right now, don't watch a tutorial on how to make a good hook, because all they're gonna say is, oh, you need attention-grabbing things to say, and you need these power words, etc. But none of that is gonna matter if you don't fundamentally understand the patterns and the psychological patterns behind a good hook. So what I would do instead is open up Instagram, open up YouTube, and search up your favorite creators, the ones that make the best hooks in your opinion, the ones that you are captivated the most by, and copy them. But don't just copy them, study them. So take one hook as a simple example here. It could be how to, or like the 3-step approach to get bigger biceps. That could be a hook, right? On Instagram or something. You could take that, study why it works. Okay, this is very simple, straight to the point. It gives a promise, etc. But let me turn it into something for me. The 3-step approach to get rid of your visual fat. So you don't just blindly copy stuff. You try to understand and watch the patterns. And you do that subconsciously by copying, by the way. If you keep copying hooks and modifying them into your own, you keep getting the reps in, that's going to teach you the patterns of good hook creation. So that's the approach I would do. And again, I want to clarify here. I don't want you to go out there and just copy everything blindly. I want you to go out there and look for hooks that you can modify into your own and actually understand, try to understand, why does this work? That is the hook approach I would take. So one is, if you're already good at it, just keep going. That is genuinely what I would say. Keep going. But if you're not good at it, I would copy until you understand the patterns. And after 6 to 12 months of doing this consistently, you'll understand the patterns. So by taking this approach here, if you're a beginner, 2 things will happen. They'll first and foremost actually make better hooks because they're proven to work. So you're finding the viral hooks here and they're proven to work. So your videos won't just flop for a year. Maybe they will if you have other issues. But they're way more likely to actually work. That's the first thing. The second thing is you'll understand the patterns if you don't just blindly copy them, but you take an approach where you actually try to learn. So this is the approach I'll take to hooks. The next thing is body here. So you've mapped out the hook here. The next thing is the body. The way I like to map out the body is I refer back to the subtopic I found up here, the way that I simplified the idea that I wanted to talk about. And I use something called Whisper. I think this is how you spell it without an E. Whisper Flow. Oops, flow. Right. It's just a dictation tool. So you can press a button on your keyboard and you can talk and it's going to transcribe that and use it or like paste it into a computer. So the way that I do the body here and map it out is I look at this thing I found here, the 3-step approach to losing visceral fat. And then I just press my button and I just talk. Okay, I want to talk about this and I want to use this example, I want to use this analogy, and I want to mention this, this, and this. So I intuitively just speak out the script and all of the things that I want to mention throughout the video. And then at the end here, I look at, okay, so that is like mapping out the body here. And at the end here, I'm mapping out the ending. Is it just a conclusion? Is it a follow CTA? Is it a ManyChat CTA where I pitch a lead magnet? Or like, what is the ending? I map that out here. So let's just say that is the CTA or conclusion. Right, and then what I do is I use AI now. And I know that's like, I don't think it's controversial, but there's a lot of people either hating on AI or absolutely loving it. But my approach is very simple because using AI, you can do 2 things here. You can do 2 things. You can either make like a full Claude Code system that scrapes the entire internet and uses all of these sophisticated things that I don't even myself understand. That is the wrong approach, in my opinion. The better approach is being the actual human, using your actual human creativity behind the video. So you map out the hook, you come up with a good hook, you map out the entire body, and prior to this, you've already mapped out topics that you actually believe in, and subtopics, you've simplified it, right? You map all of that out, the hook, the body, the topic, the subtopic, the ending, and you paste that into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want to use. And you have it connect the dots between it. You just have it fill in the gaps that you haven't filled in yourself. You just give it a few constraints, like if it's a Instagram script or short form script, say max 190 words, for example. Or if it's a YouTube script, say it's going to be about 2,000 to 2,700 words, whatever video you're making, right? So you give them these few simple constraints, so it's actually being formatted correctly for your platform. But then you just have it fill in the blanks. So you give them your topic and the reason why you've chosen it. You give them your subtopic and the reason why you've chosen it. You give the hook that you've mapped out, the body you've mapped out, and the ending you've mapped out. And you'll quickly realize that AI is incredibly good at making these scripts when you give them all of this context. While it's actually your human creativity behind. You're not just sitting down and saying, hey, write the script for me. Write about visual fat now and make sure to make it good. Make sure to have a good hook. I promise you, it's not going to work when you do it that way. And that's like probably the biggest mistake I see people using over and over with AI, or doing over and over with AI. So this approach right here is the best approach I found to script. It's what I do all the time, because what will happen here is it's going to give you like a first draft here. And this draft is going to be decent. It's probably going to be like a 6 to 7 out of 10. And then what you do is you say, oh, there's a little bit of a logical flaw here. Oh, there's something where the flow isn't too good here. Oh, I don't like the ending here. And you map that out. And then you change it. So you change that, and you fix this. And all of a sudden you have a, let's just say, 8 to 9 out of 10 script. And you've increased your workflow, the pace of your workflow, so much because you've actually used AI to enhance your own creativity. This is the approach I would always take to script. So that was the 4 principles I had for you today. It is the 4 principles I'm using every single day. It's the stuff that has generated me hundreds of millions of views and hundreds of thousands of followers. It is the stuff that actually works. And hopefully by this video, you could sense that I am on the pursuit of taking this big thing called personal branding and content and breaking it down into simple, actionable steps that you can actually follow to better your personal brand. So hopefully you want to follow along. That's coming a lot more videos like this in the future. And if you want me and my team to make your content and build your personal brand, click the link in the description and book a call with me. I'll see you in the next video.